start off the work session with Ms. Deandra Walker. You present? You want to talk to us about Bill 2021?
Yes, sir, Chairman, I'm present. Hello, members of the council. This bill is a bill to enforce the grease interceptors in Baltimore County, which is currently a multi-agency, multi-step process. This title change will authorize Public Works to issue citations to offenders for non-compliance or illicit interceptors, along with the existing emergency response, pump arounds, investigations, and repair phases of grease-related overflows. It moves the authority from the health department to Public Works. Insufficiently managed grease can cause interruption in our sewer pipelines, affecting nearby residents, institutions, businesses, and the environment. Overflows affect our compliance with our consent decree as well, and can be directly related to thousands of dollars in fines. Clarifying this installation enforcement requirement related to grease interceptors defines certain terms and generally enforcement of the law by the Engineering and Regulation Division of Utilities, and would streamline the response time, investigations and repairs, and enforcements of the laws related to the FOG program. A couple of things to note: this bill does not create any new restrictions for restaurants that don't already exist. Those restaurants that are currently required to operate grease interceptors will continue to have this requirement in place, while those that do not meet those qualifications will not face any new restrictions or incur any new costs. This bill basically consolidates our regulations of the interceptors into DPW, as currently those, again, as mentioned earlier, stand with split between DPW and HHS. So this just provides a better mechanism to promote the FOG program and to also make the inspections more efficient and to increase the communication between the DPW and the restaurants. We want to be able to provide more education and get to an overflow quicker than we have in the past. So that is an overview of the bill that we'd like to introduce today, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker. I appreciate you taking the time to have your team meet with us and explain the whole process and what's going on. So I think you hit it on the head when you said this is no additional regulations for people. I think that was important. And are there any questions from any of the members?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Just
yes,
Councilman
Patoka.
Just a comment, Ms. Walker and Ms. Rogers, if you should decide to create a grease interceptor work group, count me in. Thank you.
We will count you in.
Thank you, Councilmember Patoka.
I tell you,
also interesting.
Ms. Walker, can you explain the you or Ms. Rogers, can you explain the consent decree? Where did that come from? What is that about?
Oh, wow. Go ahead. Go ahead, Madam Mayor.
The full consent decree on water and sewer, Councilmember Jones?
Yeah, I mean, is that what it relates to when Ms. Walker talked about a consent decree concerning the FOG?
Yeah, I have to detail back to you because that's a part of the larger consent decree.
Right, as a part of the consent decree that as a part of the consent decree that we are under, we are required to have a FOG program. We started the FOG program a few years ago under that consent decree.
Right, the consent decree is a long-term response back to the federal government in terms of certain actions that the county must take in terms of our sewerage pipes, maintenance of our entire sewer system. Councilmember Jones, we're happy to give you a details. Matter of fact, Ms. Walker has put together some details about our compliance with the consent decree. This is a long-term consent decree that's been in place for many, many years. And we are moving forward with our compliance. Right now, we are in compliance with the consent decree. Different things we have to do for storm drains, overflows, certain things. It's multifaceted, also fascinating, but I'm happy to brief you and the council on what it entails. But it's been in place.
Right, so I mean, so the bottom line is somewhere along the line, the federal government said, hey, you need to do these things.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And we have been. This is one sub piece of it, but the consent
Okay.
decree itself is multiple pieces.
okay. All right, any more questions from any of the members?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman, go right ahead.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Mrs. Belcastro, do we have any speakers on this bill?
I'm sorry, Councilman. No, we do not have any speakers
Okay.
today or anything on the work session.
So, and there was correspondence sent out to all council members by the administration, which is sort of a one-pager briefing on this and what it means to existing restaurants and new restaurants. If I could just make a request before we head to next week's vote on this, could I get that in another format other than a PDF? Because I can't text a PDF. And my restaurant people in the district, I communicate via text with them, and I want to get the information out to them. I've talked to several restaurant owners in my district about the bill. Haven't heard anything back yet from them. I just want to make sure that the industry is represented and they understand the ramifications that it could have to their own business. So if you can help me
Yes,
get
Councilman,
yes.
I can do that. I can make a
Okay.
PDF image. I can take care of that for you. I can convert it.
Okay. I mean, I think I understand the bill well enough to know that this doesn't put already struggling businesses in some sort of financial jeopardy. I think I understand it enough, but I'd like to hear from our constituent restaurants if they have an issue with this, and get their opinion on it. And I just haven't gotten that feedback yet. And I just think it's prudent to hear from them whether they think this is innocuous or something that puts an undue burden on them. Thanks,
Nope.
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman Bevins?
Thank you, Chairman Jones. Thank you, Councilman Crandall, for mentioning that there was a discussion. I think we should put it out for public now in this work session, that during this discussion, we were very concerned about if this would have some new effect on business or some new cost. We were assured that it wouldn't, that this is a part of doing business, even for larger restaurants. This is something that when they apply for permits, it already exists. So I also, was looking for a little bit of feedback from my restaurants, just making sure that they knew about it in case down the road they wanted to add an addition, they wanted to expand, they wanted to move to a new location. So I feel satisfied from what Director Walker has, said to us, is this already exists. It's a part of business. You have to have this. I won't mention the name of the business, but there was a big issue, the sewer backing up, and come to find out the grease from the fryers and all that kind of grease was being sent down where the outhouse, they had one of those temporary outhouses outside because it was summertime, and so when that wasn't in use, they decided to plug all that stuff down there for the fall and winter, and it caused huge issues. So that's a big no-no. So I think that just educating businesses about this, and knowing that it is part of business and doing good business. So it's actually going to be beneficial to them not having backups and to protect their property so they don't have these kind of issues to deal with later. And I know that the public wasn't a part of that briefing that we had the other day. So I just thought it was worth mentioning that I think we all asked some good questions. And I know Councilman Crandall and I represent, you know, a lot of businesses on the waterfront that have a lot of issues already with whether their storage is going uphill or downhill, or where it's going and where everything else is going. So, but to have that information out for them, I think is just a good thing for them to have. So thanks for answering all our questions the other day at the briefing. And it's good that we can then pass that on to the businesses in our district. So thank you.
You're welcome. And just for the record, the deputy CAO has also reached out to the Restaurant Association, and we're doing additional due diligence to make sure that there's a complete understanding of what this is asking that we're introducing today. So if you do hear that there are some restaurants, we will do a targeted effort to have a briefing with them as well, to make sure we're all on the same page and understand what the bill is in place to do.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. So Drew, are you saying Drew Vetter has been in touch with the Restaurant Association?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Walker and Ms. Rogers. Now move on to page 3 with Chief Joanne Run.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and County Council members. Thank you very much this evening for giving me this opportunity and the fire department this opportunity to present for you. We are looking for your approval to move forward with, we have obtained a third-party contract with a analysis company to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of our department operationally. We are also working very closely with the executive and his administration analysis to look at that, and I'll allow Madam CAO to speak to that because I believe she's probably more the subject matter expert on that area. This proposed contract will be an independent third-party evaluation. It was actually a recommendation from the transition team that provided information for the county executive. It was one of their strong recommendations in their report. So we began following through with looking for an organization as soon as I got here. It has taken us a long time to vet the process and to vet the companies that have applied to be part of this process. So we have chosen Facets, who is a very well-known company across the United States. And they have many, many years of service in analysis and subject matter expertise in public safety environments. One of the things they're going to do with us, and they're going to assist us in developing a standard of cover for our analysis and a strategic plan moving forward to strengthen the department and assure that we have education and training, staffing, station locations, facilities. We're taking a look at the previous volunteer administration's analysis of 2014, where it was and where we are now. The BCBFA will be working alongside of us with that process. We are taking a look at the support program analyses and community risk assessment to see where we are and where we can do better. One of the things that the state fire marshal approached me about when I first got here was we are one of the top counties in the state of Maryland that have fire deaths. We are in the top 3. And he wants to see what we can do to help reduce that effort. So they will help us build that plan and make that effort move forward. We are also taking a look at our resources and what we have available to us, and also how we manage the department and how we're doing jurisdictionally and across the nation. They're going to compare us to departments across the nation in similar size And how we're configured is very unique to the state of Maryland, but there are other companies across the United States that operate similarly to us that they will be able to work with us to analyze and see where we are. And I'm happy to answer any questions, sir.
Thank you very much, Chief. Are any questions from any of the members?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Councilman Patoka.
Councilman Patoka?
Chief Run, thank you. Question, are the volunteer companies, have they been made aware of the analysis, and what input do the volunteer companies have in this analysis? And that's, I'll wait for the answer to that, and I have another question.
Yes, sir. They have been made aware. I talked about it. I've been talking about it since I've been here. The BCVFA is actually listed as one of the stakeholders, and everyone will have an opportunity to provide input to that company.
Okay. And does this analysis look at response times?
Yes.
Both from career and from volunteer companies, and how we might be able to improve response time?
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Councilman Patoka.
Thank you, Councilman Patoka.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. May I respond?
Go ahead, Ms. Rogers. I'm sorry.
Councilman Patoka, I will say that we do track the, currently we track response time for the volunteer fire departments as part of the performance. Very pleased with the data the fire department is currently keeping since Chief Run has come on board. We look at a lot of elements with respect to the volunteer fire departments, and response times is one of those elements.
That's both for career and fire and a volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And any additional questions? I would just like to, yes, go right ahead, Councilwoman Bevins.
I just have a comment for the chief. We talked about you. I don't know if you tuned into Women's History Month with the county executive and myself. He's doing a tour, and there's 3 of us for the month, and I was first. And, you know, I thought it was very important to let the listeners know that we have females leading in our public safety agencies, and that they're doing a phenomenal job. And it's kind of a first, you know, for Baltimore County to be doing that. And we're just so very proud of you, Chief Run. So I just want you to know that we were just talking about you the other night, and what a fantastic job that you're doing, along with Chief Hyatt and some of the other women in the county, with our Madam CAO, you know, Miss Rogers. And it's just a wonderful thing for a woman to be able to see in the year 2020 and 2021, for all this to be happening, and for our young girls to see this. It's very important, and we are definitely talking about it in the month of March. So thank you for your leadership and the wonderful job that you're doing.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I have a very good person to look up to. CAO Rogers is a wonderful inspiration. So thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
I too would like to just congratulate you, Chief Rung. You're certainly doing a wonderful job. I also like to just, you know, I was sitting here thinking to myself, I could have did this analysis in a few days and give a Sprite soda, and I'll be more than happy, or maybe some iced tea or something, and I could save you a lot of time and effort. But that said, I think it's a good idea to do the evaluation. Everybody, every one of us have a tendency to pat ourselves on the back and think how great we are. And sometimes it takes an outsider to come in and take a look and give an honest assessment as to where we are ranking. because it's easy to have groupthink amongst yourselves and be happy that, you know, we pat ourselves on the back. We're the greatest, we're the best, and there's always room for improvement. So I thank you very much for coming before us today, and I certainly appreciate the effort, and we look forward to the results of the evaluation.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Next, we'll move right along to page 6. Tim Sheridan, what's going on at the courts?
Well, quite a bit going on, getting ready to reopen a little further on March 15th, and then back to jury trials April 26th. So that's all what we're about over here right now.
How far are you behind? What is the backlog?
Well, it's in some things we're not behind at all. So, for example, uncontested divorces we can keep up with because we can do those remotely. Schedule cases, we can do some civil matters, but it's the jury trials. Specifically, it's the criminal jury trials. I believe there's somewhere around 60 murder cases to try, which basically we have 2 years worth of cases to try in a year, and we'll be able to do it. It's just going to take quite a bit of juggling of facilities. It's just it's a daunting task to get a jury pool, and then to get a jury in a courtroom that's spread out far enough that they can sit distantly, and then have them deliberate in a room that's big enough for 12 people to deliberate in. And so it's just a lot of moving parts, but I think we'll be ready.
Okay, fantastic. How can we help you today?
Okay, well, let me go back to my spiel. Chair and members of the County Council, thank you for having me. Tim Sheridan on behalf of the judges of the Circuit Court, and with the support of the administration, the Circuit Court is asking the County Council to approve a second amended lease for an office space for the court psychiatrist. It's the office spaces in the Schwab building, which got purchased by Towson University, which has driven us to amend the lease and brings us to you here. But we've been in that location for 11 years and would like to continue. And we had excellent representation by Nancy West on Office of Law to get us this lease, and Towson wants us to stay. So we are here to get your approval. I think the cost of the lease is roughly $28,000 or $28,500 a year, a 5-year lease. And so it needs council approval. I don't know if that's, do you have questions off of that, or?
Well, let's see. Do any of the members have any questions? Doesn't appear to be any questions. Mr. Sheridan, looks like we're okay with the lease. Sounds like it. And, we guess wish you well, and wish all the judges and all the staff at the courthouse well. And we really, so March 15th.
That's March 15th. We open more broadly. We have non-jury trials. We can do basically everything but jury trials. There are a few exceptions to that, but there'll be live persons in courtrooms more than there are now. There's always been some. Domestic violence and protective orders never stop. We've never stopped remotely, but it's a busy place when we're fully open. And okay, also, so I have the council's ear. I'd like to thank. We've gotten great help from parts of the county, like the IT department, Rob O'Connor specifically, and also from property management to help us with this rather daunting task. So I just want to publicly thank them.
Okay, well, I'm sure they appreciate it. They're doing a fantastic job. I know that. Real fast. So people that were entitled to a speedy trial, the state of emergency takes care of that. They're not.
Yes. Judge Barbera of the Court of Appeals issued an order that basically, for lack of a better term, suspended the right to speedy trial, or the Hicks case. Tom Bostic would probably be better explaining this than me, but to suspend that, and during this time where we were unable to hold jury trials. Then on April 26th, it'll start again. So we're kind of under the gun to get it done. But I believe we're up to the task, and we've done a lot of organization of the many moving parts to get that in place.
Okay, and there was efforts to try to release as many people as possible out of the jail.
There's been a lot of coordination. Yes, between the various courts, district and circuit, and the detention center and the state's attorney's office to basically get less violent or non-violent offenders out, because we knew it would take time and they have to watch their numbers there at the detention center. We realize that as well. With that
Right.
said, after a year of this, there's some people that we really need to get to trial that really should not be let out.
Okay. Fantastic. I thank you very, very much for your time. I'm looking at Councilman Marks. Did you have something?
No, I don't.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, thank
All right,
you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to page 9. Amy Grassi, you want to tell us about some real estate transactions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 transactions that are before you with contracts today. The first is for the property at 322 Worthington Road. It is just under 1/4 acre, improved with a single family residence owned by Mark and Tamara Sizik. It will be acquired with the intention and toward the planning of the potential 6 Bridges Trail that some of you may have heard of through the Towson area of the county. The contract amount is for $344,000. The funds for the purchase will be coming from Program Open Space. And if you have any questions about this one, I'm here to answer them.
We all like open space, so I don't have any questions. Any questions from any of the members?
Julian,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank Ms. Grassi and her staff for their assistance with this.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next one, Ms. Grassi.
Yes, the second contract is for just over 22 acres on New Gerst Lane in the Perry Hall area of the county. This is a purchase that will preserve those acres from density residential development that the owner was preparing to engage. It is owned by Warren and Stennis Bierman, and the purchase price is $3,070,000. And there are no immediate plans for this recreational space. It is being funded also by the state's program Open Space.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go right ahead.
first, thank you very much, Ms. Grassi and your staff with this transaction. Secondly, I would like to thank our former chair, Kathy Bevins. During a key part of this process, the councilwoman helped me with this, and I want to thank you very much, Kathy, for that. We talk about the differences between this administration and previous administrations, and this is a good example. I've been working on this for almost a year, but I'm going to tell you the county executive played a really important role in getting this over the finish line, and his staff. So they deserve a tremendous amount of credit, that collaborative spirit. I also want to thank the White Marsh Recreation Council and the Perry Hall Improvement Association. Both of those played an important role. This is going to provide a large chunk of open space in the Perry Hall area. It's going to serve the White Marsh Recreation Council, which spans my district and the 6th district. And I just want to thank everyone who helped with this process. You did a great job.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Are there any additional? Oh, go right ahead, Ms. Rogers.
Well, thank you, Councilmember Marks, but I wanted to step back to the Worthington Road property. That was definitely a win-win situation. When I first came on board, we were working with the Sissiks and the other property because these houses are in a floodplain, and we had challenges around them meeting the criteria for purchase through the flood purchase program. Based on the criteria they did not meet, but we did say to them, if we were able to ever come back and look at it through program open space or other means, that we would do so. So this became a win-win for everyone because it does help with the Six Bridges Trail, plus this family, the Sisseks, has been assisted because of where the property sits and the risk of continued flooding issues. So Councilmember Marks, we were glad that we were able to work with the Sisseks, and we're still working with the other family, the
Right.
other home that's there.
And Mr. Chair, can I just add something real fast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Sisseks came to me 9 years ago in 2012 about this situation. The acquisition of this land was dead until the county executive took office, and his administration revived it. So I just want to say, you know, a lot of gratitude goes to you, Ms. Rogers, your staff, and the county executive. Thank you.
Quite welcome. And we're very happy that we could help this family, plus help with the open space endeavor for the Six Bridges Trail.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. And obviously, good job to you, Councilman Marks, for hanging in there and showing your tenacity to get it done. And Councilwoman Bevins, always a pleasure to know that you're there to help get things done around here. So kudos to everyone.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman Patoka.
I noticed in the attendees that former planning director Pat Keller is here, and I suspect he
Oh,
may be
okay.
here on this issue. And I just want to
Yes,
give
I
out
didn't
a
see that.
shout out to Pat Keller. He's my former boss. He's also an outstanding planner. And so whenever a fellow planner, especially planner extraordinaire like Pat Keller is here, I'd like to give him a shout out.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, can I just add on to that?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, echoing Councilman Patoka's comments, Pat is the president of the Perry Hall Improvement Association. I mentioned their involvement with the Bierman property, and I want to give a big shout out to that group and to Pat for all their help.
I want to chime in.
Go right ahead, Councilwoman Bevins.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Pat Keller has agreed, you know, he's retired and, you know, he doesn't have to sit on committees if he doesn't want to. And he has agreed to sit on the stakeholders committee for the Laforge property, which is the largest piece of property yet to be developed in the 6th district. And it's huge. And I couldn't think of anybody better to sit on that, knowing about the master plan and all the years that, you know, he served in planning, and he knows so much about the property and about the area. So I'd like to thank him as well for taking on that little part-time job for the next couple months. Thanks, Pat.
Okay. Moving right along. Mr. Boswick, you want to share with us some information about a non-competitive bid awards? You want to do that now on page 16?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I will do that at the legislative session on March 15th. We probably shouldn't even, you know, reference that as a page number on these. So I'll maybe address that next time. But I think the only things you have left are the appointment and reappointments. We send invites to these nominees. I don't know if they are all in attendance.
Chris, do
No,
we have any?
no.
Okay. All right. Well, did I hear someone say something? I was ready to adjourn. Any questions or comments? All right, everyone. Thank you very, very much. I know it's been a long afternoon. Everybody be safe. Oh, no, Councilwoman Bevins, will you
No, I
put
was
your
just saying,
hands up saying hooray?
peace out.
Oh, peace out. Absolutely.